Let's come sit in our chairs. All right. Yeah, this is not as big as my room that I've been practicing all summer, is it? Oh well, it works just fine. Settle your bum into your chair. Just take a moment to feel the sit bones connect, and from that place of sit bones connecting, feel the crown of your head sort of grow up towards the sky, the ceiling. Maybe you're going to close your eyes, just resting your hands in your lap. Relax your chin a little bit and feel the back of your neck just lengthen up a little bit. Feel the long, smooth movement of your breath in your body. You're just spending this first minute or two withdrawing your senses from the external world, pulling them inward, drawing your antenna down. And we're going to pay attention for this next hour to what's happening inside. Our effort and our focus all on how our movement and breath are intertwined. And we're watching for all of the information, all of the data that we can gather when we practice watching our breath and watching our movement. So start by just lifting your ears up to your shoulders and drawing them down your back. Nice deep inhale as the shoulders rise and an exhale as they pull down your back. Feel how the shoulder blades slide lower on the ribs as they draw downwards. Feel how the collarbones expand across the front side of the body as your shoulders pull downwards. Keep your chin soft. Next time the shoulders roll down, just keep them there. Yeah, feel broad across the front side of the body here. And then with fingers on the ends of the knees, tuck the chin into chest, like almost collapse into that upper chest, that clavicle area, and then open wide again. And then exhale, let yourself close inward, and then inhale and come up. So my fingers are on my shoulders. You can also have your hands on your knees here. The forearms and elbows can come together if you're holding your shoulders, just opening back up again. Remember, you tie this with your breath, so there's an exhale and then a big inhale to open again. Big breath in, shoulders roll down the back. Let's open our arms up to the side. And if there's any resistance in the shoulders, you're just going to let those hands hang lower. Turn the palms to face up. Turn the palms to face down. There's a breath in. There's a breath out. Feel the inhale, open the hands and the elbows to face up. And then feel the exhale, turn them both to face down again. Yeah. There's a breath in and a breath out. You can feel the arm bones rolling in the shoulder sockets. You can feel tightness sort of come into the space between the shoulder blades sometimes and the neck. So you might be releasing that. You might be just shaking your head a little bit, relaxing the neck. Yeah. And then bring those hands back down to rest. Feel the work that you just put into those arms. Take your right ear to your right shoulder. Lift all the way up. Left ear to left shoulder. You're breathing deep as you do this. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Nice. Come back to center. This time drop your chin to your chest and then sweep chin up to right shoulder. Exhale it down to center. Sweep it to left shoulder. Exhale it to center. Just move gently that way. Opening and releasing. Yeah. And then back to center, head draws all the way up. Again, we'll do circles. So it's like you are drawing a nice spiral, the nose going in deep round circles. You're aware of all the little noises happening in your neck, and you're not doing anything to kind of crunch things on purpose. The circles only go as wide as the body gives you permission to do them. Change directions. Yeah. Nice. And then bring things back to center, just shaking your head a little bit. Yeah. So you're going to do that no movement and then the yes movement. And then let your head just float to the very top edge of your spine. Now hands can reach to the ends of the knees. We'll do a deeper back bend where you arch your back towards the back edge of your chair and your inhale draws you tall. So putting a nice curve in the spine and then lengthening it to the ceiling. Curve in the spine, nice length. Yeah. Nice. Remember that you're breathing. So there's an inhale lengthening you up and that exhale curling you in. Inhale lengthening you up. Exhale curling you in. Yeah. And back to center. We'll do the side bends now. So bringing your hands either to the tips of your shoulders or your side ribs. You just get to lean over to one side. Bring yourself all the way back up. Nice big lean to the other side, all the way back up. Feel the body expand from this side of the hip all the way up into the armpit. Like you can just notice that length happening on the side body. So good. So good. Coming back into center, your hands can come to your heart and we will twist. Come back to center and twist the other way. Yeah. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, twisting on the exhale. Nice. And when that feels complete, you're just coming back to notice how easy it is to sit tall. We've moved the spine in all the directions, and when you get back to this place, you notice that it feels okay. Let's do a little bit on the hips before we go all the way up to standing. So bring your feet over to the right side of your chair. And then you just slide so that your left bum cheek and leg fall off the chair, reaching that left leg back behind you. So it can stay here, knee right below hip, or you can stretch it further back. This is the movement you're going to do. Just push through the heel. Push through the heel. And feel that nice stretch happening across. And what if you were to tie that to an inhale and an exhale? Breathe in. Yeah. So release that. I'm going to slide forward a little bit on the chair so that my front foot really feels like it can ground. And then back hand will come to the chair. Lift up and set back down. Lift up and set back down. Yeah, lift up and set back down. Nice work. Last one, and then we release that side. So just notice how the two hips feel different from that experience. Let's put the opposite one into extension behind us, stretching that foot as far as it wants to go. So remember, knee can stay right here, or you can take that foot further back. Start by just pressing the heel. Yeah. Nice. And you're just feeling the engagement, reminding our body that we have a nice set of muscles down the front side of the thigh. In order to do the lifts, I'm going to release that knee, slide my body forward so that that front foot can really feel like it grounds. Okay, back hand on the back of the chair, lift and release. Yeah. And then come back down. Sweet. When we come back down, your bum will slide to the edge of the chair. Your knees will open wide. Let's take hands to the ends of the knees, dropping one shoulder in between those knees and then coming back up again. So in my body, the exhale drops the shoulder downward. The inhale pulls me back up. It's a twist and a forward fold. Find your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Yeah. Nice work. Yeah. And then coming all the way back up. Let's slide those feet back together. Cross right leg over left. Sit really tall. So your spine is at that nice tall angle. And then let yourself lean forward. But what I want you to know is that you're not kind of rounding forward like this, kind of rolling and curling forward. You're sitting really tall and leaning forward that way. And you'll feel a big difference in the muscles of your back body and a big difference in the hips. Coming back up. Let's lean forward one more time, long flat back. And then coming back up. Sweet. You're just going to change which cross you have on the legs. Sit tall, and remember when you roll forward, it's not like a curve of the spine, right? It's not this kind of slouch and fold forward. It's a really, really tall spine pulling forward. Feeling that all the way through your feet. All the way, back and hips. I'm already thinking about what we're going to do for our feet. Yeah. And then inhale and come back up. Sweet. We're starting to feel what's going on in those hips. You're going to allow yourself to do 3 big circles externally with this leg, and then change directions. Go 3 big circles the other way. Set that foot down. Same thing on this side. 3 nice big circles. Going the other way. Remember your breathing. Yeah, and then come forward. My bum slides right to the edge of the chair, so you can feel the sit bones kind of teetering on the edge. Feet come in a little bit underneath the knees. I lean forward, and as I do, same thing, that nice flat back, I can start to feel my legs firm up. I can start to feel my feet press into the ground. When I resist pushing off with my arms, I really make my legs do that work to come to standing. Once you get to standing, just let your hands come onto your legs and play here. Play sort of pulling the chest away from the hips. You can keep whatever bend you want in those knees, but you're really pulling the chest long. Thinking about the distance between the crown of your head and your tailbone, just lengthening here. Long, flat back. Good. Bend into those knees. Take a nice deep breath in and come all the way up. Nice work. You're going to stand behind your chair now. Stand behind your chair. I might have to change the camera angle just a tad so that you guys can see me better. Okay. Lift and release. So you're just feeling how you can roll your weight onto the ball of the foot and the toes. Notice how much your hands shift on the chair. If the fingers are touching the chair, you're trying to keep those hands as light as possible. Trying to keep the shoulders soft, the neck relaxed. Feel those legs. Yes. Okay, so let's do the opposite then. We're feet hip width apart, a little bit wider. I want you to bend the knees and push back up. So feel like you're like, have hydraulics in the body, that you're just being lowered down, push from the feet to stand back up. Lower down, push from the feet to stand back up. Nice, lower and push. Lower and push. Yeah, so you're thinking about not leaning too close into that chair as you come down. Yeah. So if you could imagine that we were in the yoga studio and you had those yoga blocks, picture one, we're going to put it right here between the thighs, and you squeeze the thighs like together. So even though legs are hip width apart, you're going to try and squeeze those thighs together. Squeeze them together and then slide your back down an imaginary wall and just stay there, squeezing the thighs. As you squeeze the thighs, see if you can really let the feet rest into the ground. Squeeze the thighs together. Yeah, breathe deep. You're holding the chair if you need to. Feel that in the legs. Oh, juicy. Good work. And then stand all the way up. Good. We're going to do little circles. So I'm going to point my toe in front of me, do a big wide half circle around me, and then bring the foot back to meet the right. I'm using the left to start. Point the toe, half circle, bring the foot back. Point the toe, half circle. There you go. Go the opposite direction. Go backwards, circle forward. Go backwards, circle forward. Good. Nice. Okay, we're done that side. So if you have enough room between you and the chair, you can just start doing it on the other leg. If you want to change which hand is holding the chair, you're welcome to do that as well. Big circles. So toes point forward. Nice big semicircle. Notice that you're not locking the opposite knee. So this standing leg, you're not locking that knee in place. Now we're going to go the opposite direction. So go backwards first, forward, in, backwards, forward, in. Yeah, you can feel the strength building in those legs. Good. And then when we come back to center, we will kind of neutralize that out, taking ourselves into a nice flat back pose. Knees can bend. Press the sit bones to the wall behind you. Perhaps you're going to drop your head gently between your elbows. Yeah. Nice big stretch. And then walk back up. Good work. Turn and face sideways to the chair. So because my right toes are facing the chair, I'm going to turn my right leg that way. Whichever leg of yours is closest to the chair, just take that front leg and externally rotate it. So as I try here, I'm going to try and keep my hips center and just feel the turn. If you're on a carpet, it's going to be way harder than if you're on hardwood like me. If you have a mat underneath you, way harder again. Okay, so turn those toes towards the chair and then think of the hips swiveling here. So many people, when they come into triangle pose, I see them doing it from their waist, right? It's like they bend here between the rib cage and the hips. And I would like you to try and push those hips and have the bend happen lower down. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, keep pushing those hips backwards to that back leg. Top hand can be here, or maybe you take that top hand up to the sky. Bottom hand can stay on chair, or maybe you let that bottom hand release. Yeah. Nice work. This pose also has this gentle turn of the rib cage. So if the rib cage feels like it's facing the floor, there's this gentle turn of the rib cage to face forward, sometimes even up. Yeah, push into the feet and draw your hips back to center. Ha, so good. All right, bring those feet back to center. I'm moving my chair to the other side. You decide how you can still best see the camera. And I'm doing the same thing. My feet are wider than hip width, turning to see that, for me, my left leg. I want to try and turn the left leg without my whole body kind of pulling with it. That's the hard part. So how far can I turn it and still keep my hips and shoulder facing forward? This leg's much harder. So what you're trying to avoid is any tightness in the knee. And if you turn the toes too far, the knee is going to get kind of tight. So then you'll let that foot sort of come back a little bit. Hips kick to the back foot. Remember that it's the hips, it's not the waist. So you're coming down here. Nice. Top hand can come to the waist, top hand can go to the sky. Bottom hand can reach to the chair or drop. Remember that nice sweet turn of the rib cage. Breathe. Triangle pose. They say that if we were doing this properly, we'd have all these different triangles in the body. The pelvis to the feet, the armpit to the hip to the fingertips, then the top finger down to the feet. Yeah. And then push yourself all the way back up again. Nice work. So I'm going to let both toes point open a little bit. Feel like I bring the knees wide and then press them back up again. So they're not sort of falling forward. I'm trying as hard as I can to pull them open. It's like the knees are reaching towards your pinky toe, not your big toe. And then back up again. Pinky toe and big toe. So this time stay down. You might just bend a tiny bit if that's what your knees give you permission to do. If you're hearing clicking and stuff, you're not going to go any lower. You're going to stay above the clicks. Okay, if there's no clicking, you're allowed to come down further. Push these inner thighs backwards. Push them backwards. Then you might add arms, pulling the elbows back, the wrists back, the back of the skull. Beautiful. Breathe. 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 Big stretch. Good work. Hands to heart. Big breath in. Hands down to heart. Big breath in. Hands down to heart. Big breath in. Nice. This time as you bring your hands down to your heart, just heel step your feet back together. Good. Turn and face the back of your chair again. I'm going to push mine against the wall so that I can do. Without sort of tipping the body open, you're keeping the body really facing the floor. And then what does your other leg say? Do you need to put a little micro bend in the knee? Yeah. Reaching back and down. Back and down. Good job. Bend into those knees. Walk the feet forward. Yeah, you're starting to feel warmed up. Starting to feel like there's blood flowing in that body. Good job. Deep breath here. I'm going to bring feet hip width apart. Let shoulders soften away from ears. Feel the head float to the top of the spine. Decide if there's a micro bend in the back of the knees. Breathe in. Maybe your eyes are closed. Maybe your gaze is downward. Just feel the movement in your body. Feel the way you can feel breath moving. You can feel the pulse. You can feel energy moving. Expanding to the fingertips. Releasing back out again. Expanding to the fingertips, releasing back out again. So good. Nice. Good. Okay, so release out of that. Let's do one balance pose before we move on back to the chair or to the floor. So I'm going to hang on to that chair. One thing I want us to notice when we do balance poses is that if we use just a tiny bit of support, then breath can flow more evenly in the body. So if you just think about lifting one knee and not hanging on to anything, look what happens to your breath. Right? You might get a little tippy. You might find that you're holding your breath. What if you put a hand on the chair and then you slowly let left leg, for me, my left leg, you decide which heel you're going to lift first, and slowly peel the opposite heel off the floor. Keep breathing deep. And then let that knee rise in front of you. Okay. Now start noticing the weight on the chair, the weight of your hand. So instead of letting go of the chair and feeling your breath go tight again, just notice, could I make my hand 1% lighter on the chair? Check with your breath. Notice where the breath can be big and full and unrestricted. Keep as much touch on the chair as you need to have an unrestricted breath. You're noticing that tipping point where you lift too much and your breath gets sticky and tight and you start to wobble, right? Calm down. Good. Feel that in the body. Good. You're going to change to balancing on the other side. You might need to move your chair, you might not. Opposite hand is going to hang on to that chair. My opposite leg is my standing support leg. Knees do not lock. Heel slowly slides off the floor. Check in with your breath. Long, slow, beautiful breath. What if you were to just make your hand lighter on the chair? Good. Notice how much you can let go or how much you need to hang on to keep breath very steady and unrestricted in the body. Good work. Good work. And then that hand comes down. So before we go anywhere else, just separate the feet just a little bit wider than hip width and let the hips slide from side to side. You're really working this idea of the pelvis moving and not your waist. So your upper body's not really doing anything. Your hips are sliding side to side. Oh, there's all sorts of stiff and tight sensations that come from those hips. Good. All right, when I think about going down to the floor today, those blankets are going to be used underneath my bum. So I'm going to change the chair so that it, maybe I'll just put it against this wall, so that I can use the seat of it to come down. You're going to grab your blankets again. I'm going to put one blanket in front of the chair so that when I come down to my knees, my knees can land on that blanket. So big inhale, hands up. Exhale, bring my hands to the chair. Once I find that spot, I'm going to start dropping down to knees, letting knees land here. All right, so some of you might come up really tall. I might keep my one hand on the chair. I'm going to sweep my right hand back behind me, put it into my low back, and lift my chest up to the ceiling, maybe even gazing up. Big back bend. Good. Release that hand. Sweep it all the way back to the chair. Take the opposite hand in a big sweep, press it into the low back, lift the chest up to the sky, look up. Nice work. Okay, so next pose, I'm just gonna work on my hips a little bit more. I think my blanket needs to be a bit further back from the chair now. So walk your knees backwards. Maybe you put your second hip there, your second blanket. And then you're just going to practice this, letting the bum release down towards the heels and coming back up again. So do this really slowly. If there's any repercussions in your knees, you're going to be gentle here. Gentle with this movement. Good. So now I want to take one foot back behind me and just do that movement where I press and release. Press and release. Change legs, opposite. Yeah. I know this is kind of hard for a couple of you who have plantar fasciitis in the sole of the foot or have some issues with moving through the ball of the foot or the ankle is fused. So you can ignore me if that's happening in your body. Okay, I'd like to come down to the floor, but I want my seat where I put my bum to be kind of high up. So I'm going to pile these two blankets and then make my way to setting my bum on the two blankets. Now remember, you are welcome to nestle your bum right back into that chair again, if that's better for you. Trying to make it so that you guys can see me. Good. Feet come straight out in front of you. So with those feet stretched straight out in front of you, I just see that there's a chat here. So I should, oh, it's all good. It's all good. Feet stretched straight out in front of you. All you might be doing here is pulling the feet back towards you and then pointing them back towards you and pointing them. You might be noticing the backs of the legs and the backs of those knees. If pressing them down to the floor feels too crazy, you're going to let them have a little bend in them. Point and pull back. Good. Sit nice and tall. Bring your hands up in front of you. So now you're going to act like a robot. Reach towards your toes and pull yourself back. And just notice that having a tall back and straight legs, you get a lot of sensations through the back body. Yeah. Reach and pull back. Reach and pull back. Good work. Nice. And pull back. Sometimes it's funny that I call this class gentle yoga, isn't it? Okay. My right knee bends. Left knee can stay straight. So remember that if there's any kind of discomfort with that leg being straight, you can keep it bent. You can even put like a pillow, couch cushion or something underneath that. Okay, with my right knee bent, I'm going to sit really tall and twist myself toward that right knee. Left shoulder pulls toward right knee. Right hand can reach back behind you. Maybe it touches the wall or your chair or the floor. And just gently twist. My left elbow wraps that knee gently. My gaze goes towards that back right shoulder. Breath moves up and down the spine. Every inhale, feel taller. Every exhale, just slide a little bit deeper into the twist. Feel taller and twist. And then unwind from that, reaching that leg out in front of you, pulling the opposite knee in, sitting tall, wrapping your hand, that opposite hand still wherever it wants to be, sliding back behind you if you find the chair, great. Sit tall, right shoulder towards left knee, chin towards left shoulder. Long breath in between sit bones and crown. Gentle twist. Breath. 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 Long and smooth. Good. And then unwind there. Sweet. So the next pose, those legs get to open wide. Inhale your hands to the sky. If you have your shoulder issues, one arm wants to go, one arm wants to just cross the body, you're fine. Maybe your hands only lift this far, all good. Turn towards one leg and then fold the opposite way. Come back up, turn to the other leg, fold the opposite way. So you can make this movement with fingers on shoulders, turn. You can make it with big arms, breathing in, breathing out. I always like to inhale to come back to center, fold over that leg with a long exhale. Yes. Nice. And then come back to center. Your hands float down beside you. Just roll those shoulders back a couple times. Heels come back together and your knees bend. So you have a choice for this next pose, because I'm going to get you to lean back a little bit. And some of you will just hang on to the backs of the thighs and lift one heel at a time. If you're seated in a chair, you can just practice extending one foot out in front of you at a time. If it feels like you need this padding out from underneath you, you can get rid of it. If it feels like both feet can lift at once, you can try. Some of you might even be able to let go. If you are letting go, you go from the arms really supporting you to making the legs hold themselves in place. Yeah. Keep breathing. This one's hard. Even if you're just doing one heel at a time, it's good hard work. And release. Ha! Good work. Okay. My hands are going to fall back to the floor behind me. Oops. And then I just let the knees go side to side. Good. And then once they've gone side to side a few times, I'm going to bring them open and close. Nice work. Beautiful. All right, so getting ready for this sort of final floor sequence. If you're thinking about coming all the way down to the floor, I'm going to use one of my blankets as a pillow, folding it just a little bit bigger. My second blanket, I'm going to use to lie on. And I'm going to bring my feet close to my chair. So I kind of set myself up so that my knees are really close to the edge of the chair, and then lie down. You can do this pose seated in your chair if that's what you'd like today. All right, lying on your back, head on a pillow, knees under the chair. Lift your shoulder blades off the floor, slide them back down. Breathe in, lift them up, exhale with controlled movement, drop them back down again. You're just feeling the way the shoulder blades slide on the back ribs. Nice. Good. And then those hands come down beside you. When you let the hands land, you can choose if they open wide, if you bend the elbows and let the fingers sort of drop on the floor above you. Any of those, you might even lift up your calves and slide your calves onto the seat of your chair. This is why I wanted my knees really close, so that I could nestle my knees into the edge of the chair. Opening those arms. Just as you fall into stillness here, you're finding what's comfortable for you. So if heels don't want to, if the calves don't want to be on the chair, you're welcome to just let your knees fall towards each other. Arms can open wide. Alternately, you can close the palms on your belly. You're just moving into a position that's comfortable. So if lying on your back isn't comfortable, you can also lay on your side. Breathe. You're feeling the breath move through the physical layer of your body. You're noticing the sensation of energy move, the circulation of your blood, the expansion of your breath. How you are aware even of really subtle physical movements happening. And then you check in with your brain. Just noticing how it feels after almost an hour of just paying attention to one thing. Paying attention to you, to your breath. Paying attention to finding relaxation in your body. And let yourself sink a little deeper to that heart center. Noticing what emotion is present at the moment. Acknowledging that emotion. You're not making it right or wrong. You're not judging yourself for feeling the way you feel. You're just allowing yourself to acknowledge. If mind, body, if emotion can filter down, it's almost like they distill together and drip deeper into you. Notice where these three forces meet, these three layers all meet. This intuitive place where all kinds of wisdom was built right into you when you were made, when you were created. And feel the connection to this place, where you don't know necessarily why you know, you just do. The truth that sits within you without ever having to be taught it. And breathe into that place. And then just notice how it feels to be connected. Mind, body, spirit, intuition, even down to that divine level. And take a nice deep breath. Allow a smile to just crawl onto your face. Notice the next breath that comes into your body comes through that smile. Notice the extra emotion, enthusiasm, gratitude that that smile infuses into the breath. And then you can begin to wiggle fingers and toes. You might reach a finger over top of one knee and gently draw it into your chest. Letting go of that knee and drawing the second knee in towards your chest. Perhaps you hold both knees and you just roll the low back into the carpet or mat or blanket underneath you. And as you feel ready, you roll over to one side. And from that side angle, press yourself back up to seated. You can come all the way back up to your chair. You can find a seated position on the floor. Just one more breath. Bringing your hands to your heart center and dropping your chin. At the end of the class, we say namaste. And it means the light inside, right at that deep core place where physical and mental and emotional all gel together. That place where your true wisdom sits, the true soul of you. That light recognizes and honors that same light within you. Namaste.